Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the Thursday night showdown slate between Philadelphia and Green Bay. A couple things before I get into the video. One, if you're new to the channel, I hope you enjoy the content. We got new videos up every single day here for the NFL DFS. I already have an early look for the Week 4 main slate up on my channel, so you can go ahead and check that out. And we got NBA right around the corner here, preseason starting in about a week and a half, as well as the regular season a few weeks after that. So we'll have videos up for the preseason and the regular season every single day. So really excited to get into the NBA groove. And then second, I announced the giveaway, a weekly giveaway here on my channel on my early look video. So basically how it works is I'll be doing a $20 giveaway every single week. And one entry into the giveaway will be, all you have to do is like the video and leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't. So say if I have 7 videos up this week, you could enter that 7 times basically. And then I will be announcing the giveaway winner in my Sunday night showdown video every single week. So that's how it's going to go. It's not sponsored. It's just me giving back to you guys. So I really do appreciate all the support I've been getting. We're closing in at 600 subscribers. Really excited about that. But that's it. So let's jump into the analysis here for Philadelphia Green Bay Thursday Night Football. So real quick, let's look at the spread first. So right now this is sitting at a 45.5 point total with Green Bay favored by 5. So over-under kind of sitting in the middle there, not too high, not too low. As far as snap counts go, let's look at the snap counts real quick before we get into the salaries. So a pretty interesting thing to note here for Aaron Jones was the snaps are steadily declining for him, 59, 58, only 39% there in week 3. Jamal Williams, 41, 47, 61%. So it's almost, a timeshare there, basically in Green Bay. Vitale or whatever is the fullback, so don't worry about that. And as far as wide receivers go, it's Devontae and MVS playing about 90% of the snaps, followed by Geronimo at about 50%. He's the slot receiver at Green Bay. Not running 3 wide receiver sets as much, so Geronimo only getting about 50% of the snaps. As far as tight ends go, Jimmy Graham snaps kind of been all over the place with 55, 73, 42%. He's been dealing with injuries too, so that's something we have to keep in mind. Mercedes Lewis about 50% as well, and then Tanya at about 30%. So that's basically it for Green Bay. Let's look at Philadelphia real quick. So Philadelphia still running this running back by committee here. Miles Sanders at 34% last game. Sproles at 36%. Jordan Howard at 33%. So, it's basically a even 3-way split between all 3. And I'll get to the salaries here in a sec for those guys. As far as wide receivers, Aguilar and Mac Hollins basically played the whole game last time out with Arcega-Whiteside at 72%. But we do have Alshon Jeffrey is going to be back and active. So most likely it's going to be Arcega-Whiteside that takes the hit. Mac Hollins and Aguilar should still play most of the game here for Philly. As far as tight ends go, Ertz played 100% of snaps once again. Goddard was coming back from injury, only played 12%. This is a situation we have to monitor. If Goddard's feeling healthy, I feel like the snaps are only going to go up from here. So that is a situation we have to monitor. That's basically it for Philly and the snap count. So let's look at some salaries here. So we'll start at the top with Devontae Adams at 11K. Kind of had an off week 3. Week 1 and week 3, not too good for him, but week 2, he had a pretty solid week. This guy does have, probably the most upside out of anyone on this slate. And I do like the pairing with him and Aaron Rodgers. I think there's enough value on the slate to get them both in there. So Devontae Adams playing at home. I do like the upside a good amount here at 11K. And then right below him is Aaron Rodgers at 10.8. So it hasn't really flashed a whole lot of upside here with 12, 15, and 13 fantasy points. But only, 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown in each of the first 3 weeks. A little better matchup here against Philly and at home. Philly just got lit up against Detroit, so not too worried about the Philadelphia defense. So Aaron Rodgers at 10.8K, perfectly fine. Normally in the really high over/under games, I try to get both quarterbacks for sure. This one's kind of sitting in the middle, so but I still think there's enough value to get both quarterbacks in there if you want to. So then Wentz right below him here at 10K. Has done a little better fantasy-wise with 28, 19, and 21 fantasy points. A Green Bay defense, kind of middle of the road, so not the best matchup, not the worst matchup. Again, I think there's enough value on the slate to get both quarterbacks in there if you want to. As far as Ertz here at 9.2K, I think he's priced about right. If Dallas Goedert, plays a little bit more snaps, maybe Ertz won't play 100% of the snaps. But yeah, the matchup's perfectly fine here. No Deshaun Jackson still, but Nelson Aguilar will be back, so that's a slight downgrade to Zach Ertz. But yeah, 9.2K, I think he's perfectly fine here. As far as the running backs go, Aaron Jones at 9K, I'm probably going to be off him. just because the snaps have not really been there for him, I would like it if he was sitting at like a 75 to 80% snap count. He's only like 50%, and then last week was down to like 30%. They feel comfortable giving Jamal Williams a lot of work. He did have a decent week 2 there, but it's just I'm worried because, like I said, Green Bay likes giving Jamal Williams a good amount of work. I don't really feel like playing $9K for a guy that might get 50% of the snaps. So for that reason, I'm probably going to be off Aaron Jones. Now, Alshon at 8.2, I think it's interesting. I think it's priced about right, but him coming back from an injury does worry me a bit here. I think that will lower the ownership on him for GPPs, but I definitely still think he's viable. Again, I think he's priced about right at 8.2. Deshaun Jackson listed as doubtful. Do not expect him to play. They said I think 2 to 4 weeks when he got injured, so really don't expect Deshaun Jackson to be to play. Nelson Aguilar at 7.8K is interesting. Obviously, he had a big last couple weeks have been really good for him, but Alshon being back does a slight downgrade to Nelson Aguilar. It won't affect snap counts really, but he'll I think Alshon will take some of those looks away from Nelson Aguilar. Now, I think he's going to be pretty popular just because he's been really good the first couple weeks, and he can definitely have another good week here again. But if the ownership gets too high in Nelson Aguilar, I think I will fade it and look elsewhere. But again, 7.8K, I think that's about right for Nelson Aguilar as well. MVS is 7.6. If we look at the snap counts again, he's getting about 90% of the snaps, which is solid. That's what we're looking for a wide receiver. 6, 5, and 10 targets. I don't think he has as much upside, obviously, as Devontae Adams, but he's still out there basically the whole game. So 7.6K, kind of priced in the mid-range here. I think he's fine with a little bit of upside. Now, if we get to the running backs, it's Miles Sanders is the first running back listed here at 6.2K. Again, it's kind of a three-way split. Now, between him, Jordan Howard, and Darren Sproles' salary rise, I think Miles Sanders is in the middle for me. I think Darren Sproles would be my favorite because he's the cheapest, and then Jordan Howard last just because he's not really involved in the passing game. Miles Sanders will get some early down work as well as get involved in the passing game at 6.2K. He's fine here. Jamal Williams at 5K. So he's been getting the snaps going up for him. 41, 47, and 61% of the snaps. So if I was going to play a Green Bay running back, I think I would lean towards Jamal Williams and take that 4K salary savings just because he's out there for just as much, if not more than Aaron Jones, and he still gets incorporated in the passing game. So yeah, I think if I'm picking between the two Green Bay running backs, I'm going to lean towards Jamal Williams right now. As far as defenses go, I like targeting defenses in the low over-under games. This one's about in the middle, 4.8K for the Packers D. I'll probably pass. They have looked good here with 14, 12, and 13 fantasy points. But the Eagles, pretty solid offense, so I think I'm going to pass on the defenses for this slate. Jordan Howard's probably my least favorite Philadelphia back, just because they don't really use him much in the passing game. He'll just be used on the ground. Now, can he get a couple rushing touchdowns like on the 1 yard line? Yeah, sure, that can happen, but I don't really see huge upside in him, so I think he's probably my least favorite running back here of the Philadelphia guys. Jimmy Graham at 4.4K. Back-to-back weeks of no catches, and he's dealing with 2 injuries as well, so that definitely does concern me a good amount. Now, I think that's going to lower the ownership on him a lot. He still does have some upside. Like, he has Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. Jimmy Graham, I know he's getting old. He's dealing with injuries, but he can still get you there. So I think the ownership goes really low on him. And if I think it's going to dip to below 5%, then that's when I'll look to Jimmy Graham to target him. So 4.4K. I don't feel great about it, but if the ownership, is going to go low enough, then I would consider Jimmy Graham. Now, Geronimo Allison at 4.2K, playing about 50% of the snaps, hasn't really flashed a whole lot of upside, but he can get you there in 50% of the snaps. I think 4.2K, that's about right for him. So if you need like a value play, I think he's perfectly fine. As far as the kickers go with Crosby and Elliott, you can definitely target one there for GPPs. I wouldn't go 2. Again, this over-under is kind of in the middle, but a kicker, can get you, 10 to 15 fantasy points. I think it's like the biggest upside. So Crosby, Elliott, don't really have a preference between the 2 kickers. Eagles defense at 3.2. Again, I'm not really looking to target the defenses on the slate. I think we can go elsewhere. There's better value plays. Now, can a defense get a pick 6 and get you there? 100% they can. We saw with the Bears last night. I was about targeting the defenses because that was a lower over-under, but this one, kind of in the middle. I'm probably going to fade the defenses for the Showdown slate. Now, Darren Sproles is probably my favorite back just because the salary here at 2.8K. I know he hasn't done much last few weeks, but He has that PPR upside. And again, he's the cheapest of the three, still getting about the same. I think he had the most snaps actually last week. Yeah, he got the most snaps. So the only downside with Sproles is if Philly somehow gets off to a big early lead, then they wouldn't use him as much. I feel like they'd use more Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders. But if Philly's playing from behind, that's perfect game script for Darren Sproles. So 2.8K is probably my favorite back just because he is the cheapest and does still have some upside. I know he's getting up there in age, but I do like that he has that PPR upside in him. Now, Hollins at 2.4K. I think he's going to be the number 3 receiver with Alshon coming back. Again, I think it's Arcega-Whiteside that gets a short end of the stick. So if that's the case, Mac Hollins at 2.4K, I think it's one of the better value plays. If we look at the Philly snaps, 99, 99, 72%. So I think Mac Hollins would probably be sitting in that 70% range, which is perfectly fine here for 2.4K. 8 and 7 targets the last couple of games. So yeah, I think he would be one of the better value plays if he is going to be the number 3 receiver. Again, Arcega-Whiteside, I think he gets a short end of the stick. Now, if we get confirmation that he's going to be the number 3 receiver over Hollins, then obviously you target Arcega-Whiteside. But I think Hollins will look better. I think Philly's more comfortable with Mac Hollins as the number 3 receiver. As far as Dallas Goedert goes at 1K, did not play that much there in week 3, only 12% of the snaps. If we get news that he's going to play, the snaps are going to go up, then yeah, you can target him at 1K. Again, I think when he's fully healthy, they'll probably give him about 50% of the snaps like they did in week 1. So this is a situation we have to monitor. If the snaps are going to go up for Goddard, then I would consider him as a cheap salary play. Mercedes Lewis, you could give a look to. Again, he's playing about 50% of the snaps. Doesn't have huge upside, obviously, but if you need a really, really cheap guy, I guess I don't hate the play. Maybe Jimmy Graham misses too, then I would consider Mercedes Lewis with more confidence. And that's basically it for the guys and their salaries. I wouldn't really target anyone below that. So as far as captains go, I think Davante Adams will probably be the most popular, but he does have the most upside. Again, quarterbacks, I normally don't go with the quarterbacks in the captain spot unless they have some some rushing upside. So I think both quarterbacks are fine. Again, I think there's enough value to get him in there, but I'm not really looking to get them in that captain spot. Now, if you want to go with one of the quarterbacks in the captain spot, you can. Just make sure you get some correlation. So if you're going Aaron Rodgers in the captain spot, make sure you get like Davante Adams and another receiver there. So yeah, I think Davante Adams is probably going to be one of my favorite captain spots. Again, he has the most, I think, has the most upside. Other guys I'm considering, Zach Ertz at 9.2K, I think is perfectly fine. Alshon, but the injury does worry me a bit. And then as far as like cheap guys I'm considering for the captain spot, I think Sproles, you could do it at 2.8K, or Mac Hollins at 2.4K. Those would be 2 cheap guys that I would consider. But that's basically it for guys I'm considering for the captain spot. And I think that's about it. So yeah, if you're playing the Showdown slate to try to win it all, it's usually $250,000 to first. Make sure you have a unique lineup. And by unique, I mean like you're probably gonna have to not use maybe $2,000 to $3,000 worth of salary just so you have a really unique lineup that no one else has. If you just want to make the best possible lineup and split it with whoever else has the same lineup, then that's fine. But there's a lot of people that play these slates. So if you make a lineup that uses all the salary, I can guarantee you that there's going to be a lot of other people that have that lineup as well. But yeah, that's basically about it for the video, guys. So if you haven't enjoyed the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. It's also really important to follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. I will give my thoughts as we get more injury news. Really not waiting any injury news besides Deshaun Jackson, but I don't expect him to play. And yeah, I'll be back for another video talking about some value plays I like for week 4. So I will see you guys then.